So not just liking or scrolling, not just going through the job tabs, but then engaging with the content, engaging with people, speaking with them, commenting on other people's posts, or in fact, creating your own content. That is the last resort that I ever would tell a job seeker to do because they have so much to do already. But yeah, again, reiterating, scrolling and liking is not being active on LinkedIn. Job seeker, have a solid resume, have a great digital profile, but make sure that you're connecting with anybody and everybody who you've known in the last 15 years and also people who are in the same industry and you want to learn with. So somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn saying that we have an open position at Uber, and at that time I was working at TikTok. And I was like, I don't need it, but I'm more than happy to pass it on because that is what I was doing actually, making sure everybody gets an opportunity, everybody is getting the mentorship that they need. And I was like, I'll pass it on because I know a lot of people who are looking for HR roles. And then that's how I actually got that role because they're like, they really like me. But what am I trying to say is networking is something that you do intentionally. Because see, in any networking connections, right, Amrita, there needs to be two elements to it. One is you need to offer something, and second is there needs to be an ask, right? If there is an imbalance in that, there is no connection per se. So if I'm only offering in a connection, then there is no connection, right? If I'm only asking in a connection in a networking conversation, then that's not a connection. There always needs to be a balance between an offer and an ask.
What is your thought on how job seekers can leverage social media platform? We know that right now social media is such a big thing. So if you have any tips, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So see, honestly, Amrita, when we talk about social medias for job seeker, LinkedIn comes to my mind the first, right? So if you can have a profile on LinkedIn, one, connect with people who are in the similar field that you want a job in, or connect with people who are recruiters, hiring managers in the industry and companies that you want to work with. And third, connect with people who are right now in job search as well, because I mean, give it or take it, you always learn from other people also who are in the same journey, right? So LinkedIn would definitely be my first preference, no other. And then second, if you want me to like talk more about it, I think yesterday only I connected with somebody on Instagram, and then they were a founder and I'm a founder, and I was like, what? Oh my God, let's just have a conversation, right? So if you're out there seeking for right kind of network and people, they would find their way and you would find them somehow as well, right? So one, definitely tap on LinkedIn as much as you can. And second, if you are busy scrolling reels, then maybe talk a little bit, scroll reels which are around job search, personality, communication, storytelling, market, industries, right? Because it's very easy to get distracted when you're on social media. Same as for LinkedIn, same as for Instagram, Facebook. But then if you can utilize these kind of content for your job search as well, that would be helpful as well, I would say.
Awesome. Just to follow up on that, Shreya, I remember in webinar you did talk about LinkedIn. Like people say, I'm active on LinkedIn. Do you want to share what actually means by being actually active on LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. You know how on other social medias we stalk people and then we say, oh my God, I use Instagram a lot. No, if you're not posting, if you're not engaging with other people's content, just scrolling through LinkedIn or just scrolling through the job search page, the job search tab, or reaching out to 5 people through DM is not being active on LinkedIn. Being active on LinkedIn means that you're engaging with people, you're having meaningful conversations with them directly or with the content that they're posting, right? The idea of LinkedIn algorithm is if you're just scrolling and you're liking a couple of these posts, right? For them, that's not active engagement, right? But if you're commenting on a couple of these, if you're speaking with individuals through DMs, if you're reposting some of these contents that you really like and you think are good as per the industry standard or as per the job search that you are trying to find, then that's what being active on LinkedIn means, right? So not just liking or scrolling, not just going through the job tabs, but then engaging with the content, engaging with people, speaking with them, commenting on other people's posts, or in fact, creating your own content. That is the last resort that I ever would tell a job seeker to do because they have so much to do already. But yeah, again, reiterating, scrolling and liking is not being active on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And what are the top key areas folks should focus on, make their LinkedIn presentable for the recruiter?
Yeah, and that's just a great question, right, Amrita? And I want to take us a little back on that. So there are two ways a recruiter can find a candidate, right? First one would be through the applications when we all apply and then they all see that in the ATS and then the application happens. Second would be through LinkedIn or through any other of these job portals, but we were talking about LinkedIn, so we'll talk about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is another portal that recruiters would come and find candidates. Now, how are they finding candidates? The same way, through the keyword search, right? So if I'm trying to find somebody who's a finance manager, who is a CPA, I would find out what keywords am I looking at in terms of the job description, and I would type down those keywords, and it's called Boolean search. A lot of people should know about it. It's called Boolean search. And then that's how recruiters are finding these candidates. And if you don't have the keywords, if you've not explained the experience, if you've not written a good headline, a good summary section, your keywords would not be there. And if your keywords would not be there, you would not pop up in the search of the recruiter. Now, there is a twist. Even if you have the keywords, you would not be the first searches or the top searches if you're not active on LinkedIn. So, Amrita, you and I are active on LinkedIn, right? So, if I go on my LinkedIn and type AMR, you would probably be the first 5 people who would appear, right? Now, if you wouldn't have been active, even if you're doing a lot of things in the backend and you're not active on LinkedIn, if I would write Amrita, you would not be even the first 10 searches. And that's what being active on LinkedIn changes, that you're not there as the top result even in the search, right? So when recruiters search for you on LinkedIn, even if you have the best profile, that is the first priority. Then have the profile filled completely. The second priority would still be a little bit more active on LinkedIn.
And another thing, Shreya, like I do see like it's important for people who are looking for a job that they have to call that out there, like, like you're open for a job. That ways like recruiter will have a clarity, okay, this person is actually looking for a job.
Right, right. So if you're talking about like open to work banner on LinkedIn, there are two ways that you can show a recruiter that you're open to work, right? One is to have that banner on your photo that everybody can see. But if you go on a profile, if you go on your own profile, it specifically asks, do you want your whole network to know, or do you only want recruiters and hiring managers to know? And for people who are currently in a job or don't want other people to know that they're looking for a job, they can avoid the open to work banner with their photo, and they can just put that open to work banner specifically for recruiters, and recruiters in the backend would know those profiles, because then that is how it would appear in the search as well. So short answer, yes, it's good to have the open to work profile, because then everybody who's trying to have a conversation with you or vice versa, they would know what is the intention behind it, right? But if you're not comfortable showing that just yet, then there's always an option where only recruiters would get to see them.
So Shreya, what are the top 3 things comes to your mind which candidates should focus when they are actively looking for a job?
So if you'd ask for first thing that candidates should be looking at when they are searching for a job is one, having a super, super, super great resume. And I said it thrice because a lot of us have like, oh, I have the best resume. Recruiters don't see it. ATS is rejecting it. Market is really bad. Yes, but somebody must be getting the job, right? Why are you not that somebody? I would also always question myself that if somebody is getting an opportunity, why am I not getting it? So question that, sit with that resume. If you are not working really well on that resume, there are a lot of chances that you'll end up losing all the opportunities, right? Second is networking. That means if I am searching for a job and my friends, family, everybody that I know and I've had a conversation with in the last, 15 years of my career, if they don't know that I'm looking for a job, I'm losing on an opportunity. Everybody should know that Shreya's looking for a job. This is the profile she's looking for. This is an idea of what her work life should look like. And then this is what she's really passionate about, right? If I have that idea and if I can have that message across to all the people that I know, and when I'm saying I know, I've not even tapped my professional network just yet, right? Everybody that in the last 15 years I know, and again, friends, family, their network, people I've worked with, people I've come in contact with because of smaller projects, because of my work, because of my college, anybody that I've come in contact with, right? That is the network that I'm talking about, that people that you are having a conversation with, they should know that you're open to work and what kind of role you're looking for. Third, and the most important, go on LinkedIn, be shameless, be persistent. I mean, there's a very technical term, being persistent, and then in a everyday language we call it like being shameful, right? Like be shameless, like just go out there, be super consistent of like reaching out, asking these people for referrals, messaging for coffee chats, figuring out what insights can you get from these professionals, from these people who've been in the industry for that long, right? So if you're a job seeker, have a solid resume, have a great digital profile, but make sure that you're connecting with anybody and everybody who you've known in the last 15 years, and also people who are in the same industry and you want to learn with.
Awesome. So, Shreya, I know we have been talking so much about networking. So, like, I think we want to focus on that area specifically because we know that that really plays a very important role in job search, like, not in just job search, like, for your career growth overall. So, what would be your advice, like, if someone who wants to build their professional network from the scratch? I mean, they don't have any knowledge what networking is all about.
Okay. Networking question is very close to my heart, and I'll tell you, two of my very favorite jobs I actually got through networking and through my LinkedIn. So somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn saying that we have an open position at Uber, and at that time I was working at TikTok. And I was like, I don't need it, but I'm more than happy to pass it on because that is what I was doing actually, making sure everybody gets an opportunity, everybody is getting the mentorship that they need. And I was like, I'll pass it on because I know a lot of people who are looking for HR roles. And then that's how I actually got that role because they're like, they really like me. But what am I trying to say is networking is something that you do intentionally. That one, have very clear intentions of like, why am I networking? Why am I on LinkedIn? Is that because everybody is creating such a big hype about it? Or because I know that it is going to pay if I do that consistently, right? So one, have a very clear intention. And I'm saying this because you're asking specifically for somebody who might not know the idea behind networking. Why are they doing what they're doing, right? Second and most important, if you are somebody who's never networked before, especially if you are new to the US market, if you're an Indian, you're new to the US market because of either school, because of either a partner, I would say go on LinkedIn, find out people who are working in the industries that you would want to work in. That's one. Who are working in the roles and titles that you would want to work at. Third, they are working in the companies that you really would want to work at, either because of compensation, because of work-life balance, because of location, or because of your spouse being there, or because, it was your parents' dream, whatever that looked like. So one, industry, second, title, and third, the companies, right? Now, start following these people, start connecting with these people, send out a very simple message saying that, hey, I'm starting my career or I'm restarting my career here in US. I've been an 8-year finance manager. I've been 8-year account manager, taxation manager back in India. And then now I'm here and then trying to find a new job, or I'm here connecting with like-minded individuals. Send that out, right? So the idea if you're starting with scratch is to build your connections first, because then you would have an understanding what are these people posting, what kind of conversations are happening in the industry, and then you can start putting your 2 cents on their content, right? With your thoughts. Third, very important, always take yourself as a fellow professional. Never take yourself as only a job seeker, right? Because then if I place myself only as a job seeker, then I'm lowballing myself. I'm not sending conversations with authority and credibility, but I'm only asking for more favors versus I'm actually telling them that, hey, I'm a fellow professional, I would love to connect, versus, hey, I'm a job seeker and I would love to connect, right? The message would land differently. So if you're somebody who's starting it from the scratch in terms of networking or in terms of job search in USA, three important things. One, a very clear intention of why is this important for you? Because people are saying, or is this actually important for you? Second, have a clear idea of who are these people that you want to connect with. Third, start positioning yourself as a fellow professional, not just a job seeker.
Love this. Like, I think what you mentioned, I agree completely with you, Shreya. Like, it's very important when you network with someone, you just don't want to look like you're just looking for a job. All
Yeah.
you're looking to have a bond connection with them so they can help you in your entire career or job search process.
Yeah, absolutely important because see, in any networking connections, right, Amrita, there needs to be two elements to it. One is you need to offer something, and second is there needs to be an ask, right? If there is an imbalance in that, there is no connection per se. So if I'm only offering in a connection, then there is no connection, right? If I'm only asking in a connection in a networking conversation, then that's not a connection. There always needs to be a balance between an offer and an ask. Now, a lot of people come to me and say that it's very easy for you to coach people, and tell them that offer something. If you're a job seeker, what do we have to offer? A compliment, right? That your profile is impressive. I love your work at Microsoft. Or I love your content. I have so many people, and I can open my LinkedIn right now. You'll at least find 5 people saying that this post gave me this insight and this is what I'm doing right now. You all telling creators that their post was helpful to give you some insights is a great day for them. That is you offering something to them, right? So offer that and then have an ask. So there always needs to be a balance in that networking connection.
Absolutely. So it's all about establishing that connection with someone.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this whole conversation that I did not use networking without the word conversation, connection and conversations, right? Because what is networking? You network, but you connect with people. If you can't connect with your network, the whole world can be your network. But if you can't connect with them, what's the point of having them in your network?
Absolutely. So Shreya, how can individual maintain and nurture their professional networking over a period of time? It happens sometime like you're looking for a job, and that's how some people become very active on LinkedIn. They become professionally very active, connecting with folks, but sometimes they just lose touch with, their folks, and they're just not being active. So what would be your advice for that?
So anybody who's trying to create long-lasting networking connections, first remember when you're trying to network with somebody, what are they offering and what are you offering? That means if you're offering something specific, keep offering that even if you've got a job, right? Or keep asking for these smaller mentorship insights from those people if you were a mentee to them first, right? So for an example, I still have a coach since my Seattle University times, which is 5 years now, right? What I do is I usually send them a monthly update saying that, hey, this is happening, this is happening. I would love your insight. This worked out really well the last time. And I'm extremely grateful that they're present in my life, right? And not because I want to keep that connection going, because this is exactly how I feel about them. And then usually in long-term connections, we always think about people. We always think how did they, help us in the time when we need it, but we don't take a moment to actually give that message to them. So I would say whenever you're feeling that or whenever you're remembering somebody, it doesn't have to be a long message. A very quick LinkedIn message or a very quick email could be, hey, I was thinking about you. I was in that networking event, or I was in this event, or I was doing this. And then your thoughts or your insights came into my mind, and that was extremely helpful. So hope you're doing great. A very quick thing, right? Second can be if you are on LinkedIn very active like I am all the time, what I do is I send out content and posts to people that I would think would be relatable to them or would be useful to them, right? So if I and you are talking about something, then I would start sending out content to you saying that, Amrita, hey, I looked at this and I thought this will be very useful for you. So I'm sending this out. If it's not, ignore it, right? So that's just my way of telling you that, hey, I thought of you today. Hope you're doing great. Third thing can always be you go to them and you tell them that, hey, I am what I am because of you. I got the job. I'm excited. What can I offer now? Right. At the time when I had an ask, you offered. Now I'm happy to offer. What can I offer and how? So maybe they have some place for either mentorship or some other things where you can actually offer help, right? It can be technical, it can be content related, it can be conversations related, it can be maybe creating a smaller circle within the bigger circle, can be anything. Ask where they need you. So first would be sending a quick message whenever you think about them. Second would always be send out more informational and relatable content on LinkedIn to them or through news articles, right? Third would always be offer yourself and tell them that, hey, at the time of need, you offered your help and now I'm here to offer. Longer, deeper connections do not need a lot of things. It just need like quick revisions here and there.
Absolutely. Great advice, Shreya. And you did talk about mentor and mentee relationship. I think that's very important. Even if you're fresher, I think in long term of your career growth, I think everybody needs mentor. And that's something which people, if you don't have, make sure you have a mentor and, you kind of give back to the community by helping others as well in that journey.
Yeah, and I can't, I can scream from anywhere that you want me to scream from that I wouldn't have been here without my mentor from Seattle University. Like, I still remember mm outside my university, there's a Starbucks. We were sitting there for one of my, sessions because I was like, I don't want to be in a very closed room and then talk intensively. Maybe probably I want to be out here just chatting with you. And he's like, yeah, let's just do that. We were just sitting there and I was like, one of my biggest dreams is to be on stage in front of people, just sharing everything, doing it all pro bono. And then he was like just chilling there and sitting. And I was like, do you think it's a big dream? And he's like, what are you talking about? I mean, you can do it and you will do it. And after that, within 6 months, Amrita, that's exactly what I was doing, right? He believed in me. He showed me the right things that I needed to prep for it. And he gave me the guidance. I wouldn't have been here without him. And I tell him multiple times, right? So without a mentor and a mentee, without the idea of you being coachable, without the idea of you understanding that as an individual, we all need feedback. We all have blind spots. And there is definitely somebody out there who can fill that for us. We just need to accept that mentorship and move forward from there. But yeah, I mean, my life has changed, still changing every day. And I would say that that is what everybody should try once at least.
Yes, absolutely, Shreya. Everyone needs the right guidance in life, and I think everybody seeks that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Shreya, I think we've talked so much about networking. Do you have anything which you think we missed in our conversation you would like to highlight?
One, it just gives you where you stand. It just gives you that idea that where do you stand in this whole process, right? Like I said, if you're sitting in your room and doing it all alone, then you don't know what is that that's working really well and what's that's not working really well, right? When you step out, when you network, when you meet people who are in the same boat, when you meet people who have just completed the job search process and got an offer, and then you meet people who have been there in that role for 5 years, you see where you need to be. You see what growth you need to have. You see what skills you need to have. What is the gap, right? You can't do your own gap analysis 100% of the time. You'll probably do 60%, 40%, it's still a blind spot. And networking will fill that for you, right? So the one big thing that networking would do is fill those gaps for you that you would not be able to fill for yourself.